What happened last? A. The tortoises began to disappear. B. The number of tortoises began to grow. C. Scientists took away other animals. D. Tortoises were taken back to their home islands. Or E. The number of tortoises began to decrease. It can be overwhelming when faced with so many events to have to put in order. Let's start by comparing just two of these. What happened last? Did the tortoises begin to disappear, or did the number of tortoises begin to grow? We see A, the tortoises begin to disappear in the 6th paragraph, which tells us that no one seemed to care enough to do anything about the problem, meaning the tortoise crisis, and more tortoises disappeared. We see B, the number of tortoises beginning to grow, in the 7th paragraph, which tells us that this slow, hard work continues today, and thanks to it, the number of tortoises is now increasing every year. Between these two choices, we can see that the number of tortoises beginning to grow happened last. Let's mark it with a dot to keep track of it. Now let's compare it with C. Scientists took away other animals. We see this in the 7th paragraph, which explains the first stage of the scientists' plan: to get rid of as many cats, dogs, and other animals as they could. Still, we can see that B, the number of tortoises beginning to grow, happened last, so we'll keep our dot over here. Now let's compare B with D. Tortoises were taken back to their home islands. We also see this in the 7th paragraph, which tells us that once the tortoises were old enough and big enough to take care of themselves, the scientists took them back to their islands and set them loose. Even though they're very close to each other, we can see that the number of tortoises beginning to grow still happened last. And finally, let's compare B with E. The number of tortoises began to decrease. We see mention of the number of tortoises decreasing in the 4th and 5th paragraphs, which describe how 100,000 tortoises were carried off by the sailors and how the addition of other animals on the islands decreased their numbers. We can see that this, too, happened before B, the number of tortoises beginning to grow, and therefore we can mark B, which clearly happened last, as our final answer.